Avengers Endgame is so close and we're so excited. So for today's video, we thought it'd be really interesting if we went through and did the extremely difficult task of ranking every single Avenger from worst to best. Of course, every Avenger is honestly pretty great. It's hard to pick a worse character, so maybe we'll call the video like from the least awesome to the awesomest. We don't know. We'll do worst to best, but you guys know what I mean. All these characters are so fantastic. So for this list, we are only going to be including Avengers that are in the Avenge the Fallen poster or have their own standalone poster that say Avenge the Fallen on it. That leaves us with 24 main Avengers, and we're going to be ranking them from worst to best in today's video. So we'll be basing these rankings off of characters' overall story development, their impact as a team member to the actual Avengers, and their overall abilities and how they interact with other characters. So with those things in mind, let's go ahead and jump into this list.
Agent Romanoff, you miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
So jumping into our list, first on here, we have to put someone at the very bottom as the quote-unquote worst Avenger. Like we said earlier, we love all of these characters, and we wish we didn't have to put maybe the lower end characters in some sort of order, but someone has to be first and someone has to be at the bottom. And off of the list of Avengers we've seen from the poster, this will have to go to Happy Hogan. Don't get me wrong, he's a fun character and he's been around for a really long time. We just didn't really know that he was an Avenger to begin with. So if someone has to be at the bottom of the list, unfortunately, Happy, you kind of take the spot. Next up, we have the Wasp. So far, we've only seen the Wasp in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and pretty much his character is identical in abilities to Ant-Man other than the fact that she can fly. But unfortunately, we haven't really seen her contribution to the Avengers as a team. And for the most part, her character is still a little bit uninteresting, even from her own movie as an example. Essentially, we want to see more of this character in the future, and we really hope that there's a really cool character arc involving the Wasp later on to make us really fall in love with this character. Next on our list, we have Mantis, who is a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy and serves as a major comic relief in the Avengers, and also actually almost helped defeat Thanos when they were trying to get the gauntlet off. Unfortunately, they were not successful, and comparing Mantis to some of the other characters on this list just didn't really feel right to put Mantis higher than them, but we love to see more of this character and see what they do with her, maybe if she makes an appearance in Avengers Endgame or Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Next we have Wong, who hopefully will play a pretty big role in Avengers Endgame. In Infinity War, he didn't have too much of a role, however, we did get to see a little bit of his character in Doctor Strange, so maybe this character will be more involved coming up. Next up, we have Pepper Potts, who, another character we weren't really too sure was an Avenger in the first place. But she's a little higher up on the list than some of the other ones because she's been a major character in the realm of the Avengers, and especially a foil to Tony Stark's character, and has done some pretty badass things in some of the movies, so Pepper Potts deserves her spot on this list. Also, we put Drax next on this list. He's a pretty fun character, but he hasn't really done anything amazing in the realm of the Avengers as a whole. Of course, his ability of invisibility is pretty amazing to say the least. Next up, we have Vision, who, interestingly enough, didn't have a lot of development in Age of Ultron or Civil War, but all of a sudden became a character we really cared about in Infinity War, and his self-sacrifice almost mirrors the same self-sacrifice that Captain America once had, and it was a really interesting plot. And his relationship with Wanda is also really cool. So we really like where they're starting to take this character, and maybe one day we'll get more of him in the future. We really don't know with what Endgame is going to change up. Next, we have Valkyrie, who we also didn't know was an Avenger yet. However, she played a pretty big role in Thor Ragnarok, and the character was really likable, and we think that since she is confirmed to be in Avengers Endgame, she may play a major role, and it'll be really cool to see how she interacts alongside the team of the Avengers. Next up, we have HAWKEYE, who was not a character we expected to be an Avenger, but her role in Infinity War was really cool, and there was some awesome fight scenes going on in there, and the fact that she's now kind of an A-list character in Endgame, it makes us think that her role is going to be crucial to whatever happens in this next movie. Next up, we have Groot, who did play a decent role in Avengers Infinity War and has proven to be really helpful in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and we do really like this character and we're excited to see what happens in the future. Next on our list, we have SHURI, who is the Black Panther's sister, or T'Challa's sister, and this character has proven to be extremely helpful just with knowing technology and almost was able to save Vision. Almost. Unfortunately, this character was dusted off screen when Thanos snapped his finger, but hopefully this character will be resurrected. Next on our list, we have Nebula, who's a really interesting character just because she really was an antagonist in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and this character has evolved and found a common enemy and found allies in the least likely place. And it's really interesting to see that dynamic, and it looks like in Endgame they're going to explore it even more, and it's going to lead to some really interesting plot points involving Thanos, so we're excited to see what happens with this character in the future. Similarly, next on our list we have Loki, who made a noble sacrifice at the beginning of Avengers Infinity War, and it kind of completed this story arc of his character. Definitely a major redemption point, especially after he kind of led the attack on New York. The fact that he died trying to prevent Thanos from destroying the Asgardians was really noble, and it was just a cool way that they developed this character. Coming in next, we have the Falcon, who is kind of one of the right-hand men of Captain America, and his wit is really a great part of this character, and he plays a major comic relief, and his flying is A+, and he's a cool character as a whole. Just maybe not as much depth to him as we'd like to see, but hey, he has that Disney Plus show coming out, and maybe it'll be really good. Next up, we have Scarlet Witch, who is another character who kind of has that theme of self-sacrifice. She's lost her brother, then she lost her love, and she really has lost a lot and has developed on her own a ton, and kind of has always had these problems involving what her powers are and how she should use them, and we really would like to see more of this aspect of this character developed on. Next up, we have the Winter Soldier, or Bucky, who's another character that has been around for a really long time, and we really appreciate just the dedication that's come out of this character. And he's also kind of gone on his own arc where he hasn't really had a chance to be himself or be that same character we saw in Captain America, the First Avenger. And now that he's kind of back in his own mind, it'll be interesting to see how this character goes on moving forward based off of all of his kind of dark past he used to have. Next up, we have War Machine, who, if this was more of like a personal list, I'd put him up a little bit higher on this list, but for the reasons of the sake of this list, this character is coming in where he's at now. But this character is really awesome because he's been around from a very early stage in the MCU and has really contributed to the Avengers. Why he wasn't in the first Avengers, I still don't know, but this character has kind of proven time after time again that he's this loyal character to Tony Stark, and at the same time now he's really starting to differentiate himself and kind of be his own character that stands on his own 2 feet, no pun intended because he can't actually walk. Anyways, Don Cheadle does a great job with this character and we really like him. Next we have Bruce Banner as the Incredible Hulk, and once again this character has served the Avengers well, and for the most part it's kind of weird the story arc that's been going on with this character. He kind of just comes and goes out of the universe and hasn't had a consistent overarching story until maybe the beginning of Thor Ragnarok and into Infinity War, and we're curious to see how his character plays out more in Endgame, but we wish that he almost had more of a focus, almost like he had in his first movie back in 2008. But I think since they recasted the character, it kind of changed things up a little bit on where they decided to take the character. But either way, this character has been really fun, and we really do enjoy Bruce Banner and the Hulk. Next up on our list is Star-Lord, who is the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we really do love this character, and he did briefly team up with the Avengers in Infinity War for the first time. Of course, in general, in both Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Avengers Infinity War, he's made some brash decisions that sometimes leads to negative reactions, but his heart's always in the right place, and he's willing to make sacrifices if he has to, and that's what's important about his character. Similarly, next on this list is Gamora, who was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice if needed to prevent Thanos from getting the Infinity Stones. Unfortunately, her story ended really dramatically and ended up being a huge plot point and development for Thanos, and made Thanos a really interesting character, but at the same time, Gamora is really interesting on her own too. So we like this kind of mix of how these characters have grown off of each other and developed a really interesting story. Next on this list, we have Doctor Strange, who was also one of the casualties to Thanos' snap, but his character was actually really well written in Infinity War. We really liked how they kind of took this character and integrated him into the rest of the team, and we really look forward to what could come from the future of this character. And once again, this character has the major theme of self-sacrifice, and that's something we really look for in characters. We also have Black Panther next on our list, who is a great character all around. Once again, we'd like to see more development of him as a character, and we got to see a lot of him in Civil War and the first Black Panther movie, but not so much in Avengers Infinity War, and we haven't really gotten to see his interaction with the Avengers too much, and we'd like to see more of this, or at least a more conclusive storyline to him in maybe Black Panther 2 down the road. Either way, this character is still really awesome. And now we've made it into our top 10. Of course, the characters that we've talked about already are great characters, and they were all considered to be in the top 10, but just for whatever reason, they just couldn't really beat out the ones that we had in our top 10. So either way, these are the ones that we thought were the best of the best, and honestly are almost interchangeable with any of the top 10 spots, but this is how we listed them out. Coming in at number 10, we have Rocket Raccoon, who is the last remaining member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, unless you count Nebula, and honestly has everything to lose here in Avengers Endgame, and has gone through a lot because honestly, the Guardians was his family, and he's lost them all, and he has that bond with Nebula, almost, it looked like in one of the trailers, that could be really interesting to explore and really be an awesome development point. And this character's awesome. The scene from the trailer of him on War Machine's shoulders look amazing, and we're really excited to see what they do with this character moving on. Next, we have Hawkeye, who's been kind of hidden away in the shadows for a while. We didn't really see him in Infinity War at all, and he's going to be returning, and it looks like he has everything to possibly lose too, since he's coming out of retirement again to fight this fight, which will be really interesting. Next, we have Nick Fury, who, if he wasn't around, we wouldn't have the Avengers to begin with. And this character's been around in so many of the films. He's kind of made the MCU to an extent what it is today, and we really appreciate that. He's great for introducing new characters, or just kind of adding an extra push in movies that maybe need an extra cast member or an extra character to just keep things interesting. His role in Captain Marvel was really cool, and we're excited to see more of Nick Fury hopefully in the future. Next on our list, we have Ant-Man, who possibly is the most underrated character in the entire MCU. Honestly, we feel like the Ant-Man doesn't get enough credit at all, but he's going to be a crucial role in Avengers Endgame because he's the only one who kind of has access to the quantum realm. Plus, he knows how to navigate it, and he has the ability to shrink in size or become giant. So definitely a lot going on with this character. He's also really funny and kind of can bounce that off as a character really well, and we're really excited to see more of him, and we definitely think he deserves more credit than what he gets. At number 6 on our list, we have Thor, and honestly, we would have put Thor in the top 3 easily had maybe Thor Dark World and maybe even Age of Ultron, his character would have been a little more interesting back then. But if anything, him still being in this top list shows that they've really turned this character around and made him one of the coolest characters ever. The way that he was in Thor Ragnarok and in Infinity War just completely changed the way that we perceived this character, and he's so much fun now. He's not this kind of serious, godly character, and he's just more this light-hearted, self-aware character, and we absolutely love what they're doing with Thor, and we hope that we just have this character in the MCU for a really long time. Next on this list, we have Captain Marvel, who we haven't gotten to see too much in the Avengers or teamed up with the Avengers, but obviously she's the newest character in the MCU, and it's going to be really interesting to see what her role is in Avengers Endgame, especially since we just saw her introduction as a character a couple months ago. It'll be really fun to see this character integrate into the team, and it's going to probably be an important plot point, so she's definitely very important as of right now. After the events of Avengers Endgame, will she still be as important? Will she still be in the top 10? We don't really know yet, but as of right now and the hype surrounding Avengers Endgame, she's definitely in the top 10 and definitely deserves her spot as number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Spider-Man, or Peter Parker, who is another major character in the Avengers, and it's funny because he wasn't even Avenger all the way up until Infinity War, but he's definitely this character that adds a lot of emotional value to this movie. His loss in Infinity War was huge, not only to Tony Stark, but to all the other characters and just to the fans as a whole. His death kind of hurt the most, and we're really excited to see what they do with Spider-Man in the future. He could really go either way and fall off and not be an interesting character, but there's definitely a lot of heart in this character, and he kind of represents the future of not only the Avengers but humanity. So we're really excited to see how Spider-Man's role in future films plays out, and of course he has a new movie coming out in July, which will be really interesting too. And after that, we have Black Widow, who interestingly enough has come from being this background character or this secondary character in Iron Man 2 all the way to the forefront of Avengers, and is almost considered one of the leaders of the Avengers. She's been there from the beginning, but it's interesting to see how she's just kind of come from being in the background to being in the forefront, and this character has also everything to lose and has come such a long way, and with the potential of her maybe getting a standalone movie in the future, we're really excited to see what happens with this character, and she's definitely deserving of the number 3 spot. Okay, the last 2 spots are definitely going to be up for debate, so in our comment section, maybe go ahead and list out all of the Avengers in your personal list on where you would rank them 1 through 24, the ones we went through, but we're going to go ahead and decide on number 2 is going to go to Captain America. This character is amazing and was so close for getting number 1. He's been there since almost the beginning in 2010's Captain America, the First Avenger, and has honestly gone through a really interesting storyline and plot and character development. He's grown a lot, and a lot of his values have changed over the years and have changed back. And it's almost time for this character to have some sort of finale and some sort of conclusion, and we're really excited to see what they do with Avengers Endgame, and if there is a future to this character, what they do with that also. And finally, our number 1 spot goes to Iron Man, or Tony Stark, the character that started the MCU off way at the very beginning. And while this was a close run between Captain America and Iron Man, we just decided Iron Man takes it because this character by himself serves an amazing story arc. He's grown so much just in the first Iron Man movies and the first Avengers movie, and then he went on kind of a new character arc starting in Age of Ultron all the way through Civil War, and we're kind of seeing the aftermath of this play out again. And it's really interesting when a character develops into one character and then develops again into a new type of character, and we've gotten to see that in a way that you don't really ever see in film, and we really appreciate that out of Tony Stark. But we'd love to turn this around to you guys. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below with at least your top 10 Avengers. If not, you can go ahead and do the full 24 Avengers. in whatever order you think. We'd love to read your comments, and maybe we can make some sort of tally based off of what you guys put in your lists. Alright guys, that's it for today. Let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Do you agree with our list? Are we missing something, or are you just excited about Avengers Endgame? Let us know what you're thinking. We'll see you guys all next time with a brand new video.
Then, better late than never, Captain America, Chris Evans, crashes the interview. Hugs all around, but hey, where's Roxy?
I'm sorry.
Chris Evans.
You two are.
Hi.
You both are relevant. Great.
Okay. This interview actually ended 2 minutes ago. We just.
Kyle, enjoy this Team Iron wannabe man, but the right team is the only team, Cap.
No negativity from me.
Are you a baby? Oh wow. Are you Avery? You're a pretty girl. Yes. Are you happy?
Hey guys, we hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure you guys hit the like button down below and subscribe for more Film Artsy. If you guys want to showcase your talent to the world, Film Artsy is the best place for you guys to do it. Please submit your videos to filmartsyofficial@gmail.com, or you guys can click the link in the description. We really want to see what kind of talent you guys can provide. So let us know, send us an email, and we'll check out your videos, and we'll see you all in the next video.